Way back in the spring of 2011, one of our friends, Brian, came up to the group and he said, "Would you guys be interested in attending a zombie apocalypse training camp?" Of course, we looked at him like he was half nuts and said, "Brian, what on earth is a..." "No, you know what? Never mind. I don't care what it is. Let's do it. Sounds like fun." And after we finished that first event in the spring, we decided it was so much fun we wanted to do it again that fall. So we did. And after that, it became an annual fall event that we've been doing ever since. So what do we do at Zombie Camp? Well, we have zombie-related competitions, of course. We have a slow race, which is the fastest bike, is zombie food. We have a wheelie competition, which I'm not sure we can make about zombies, but we'll say it's a zombie wheelie competition. We have a barrel race that we call the Bermuda Triangle, that I guess you could say we're dodging zombies. We have the Gates of Hell, which is a trials course. We have a hill climb in case you need to get away from any low-lying zombies. And since there's no way to get a dozen guys together on dirt bikes and not have a drag race, we have one of those too, where the slowest bike is zombie food. We added a new event a couple years ago that we call the Pylon Race. It's basically just two cones set up and the riders start opposite of each other and chase each other around in a circle. And the person who catches the other one wins. The last event is the Rally of the Dead, which is a 1 mile long course that includes some grass track, a couple of jumps, a few ditches, a mud hole or two, and a whole lot of fun. We start the day's competitions off with the slow race. In order to win the slow race, you want to be the last rider across the finish line. It takes a lot of balance and clutch control to make that happen. Now you also don't want to put your foot down. There, Bert just put his foot down, so Bert's out. And we're down to 3. There's Bob and Mark and Rick. And there goes Mark. And Bob's out. Rick won that one. Next up we have Keith and Chris and Joe and Sean. This is Keith's first event this year. And we got Chris cheating like a mofo over here sliding behind Keith. You're not supposed to change lanes. Looks like Sean just gave up. And we're down to the 3. Oh, Keith put his foot down. Chris is still weaving back and forth. And looks like Joe's going to throw in the towel. Chris gets the win, even though he's cheating. We'll let it slide. This one's my heat. That's me on the white bike closest to the camera. Now, if you watch the whole thing, you'll see that I do win my heat, but I wound up frying my clutch in the process. So this was the one and only event I got to ride all day. So without showing all the heats, this is the final race. We've got Will and Jason and Heath, Rick, and Chris. Now we know Chris can't ride in a straight line, so he's out. Oh, Jason's out too. Down to the last 3. Wonder Boy Will, Heath, oh, Heath's out. Heath was one of the favorites for this event. So we got Rick and Will. Rick goes out of bounds just before Will falls, so Will's going to win that one.
I wasn't going to put a foot down, damn it. Will is too.
Next up, we have some wheelies. Don't laugh, it's harder than it looks. Next up is one of everybody's favorites, especially for bragging around the campfire. It's the drag races. And after a long, hard battle through the brackets, we wind up here at the final drag race. Let's see how it turns out. And we get Jason for the win, Chris in second, Wonder Boy Will coming in third, Rick in fourth, and Bert coming in fifth place. And that brings us to the Bermuda Triangle, which is pretty much just a barrel race, except we're on dirt bikes. After the barrel race, we're off to the gates of hell, which is what we call our trials course. Slow and controlled is the name of the game here. You get a point for every time you put your foot down. Low score wins. The skill level of the riders out here at Zombie Camp covers the entire spectrum. Here we're watching Rick, who has been riding pretty much since they invented the motorcycle. Now you see him put his foot down a time or two, but don't let that fool you. Try and chase him through the woods sometime and you'll find out that there isn't much that can slow him down. Now in contrast to that, we also have riders like Eric here, who just picked up his very first dirt bike like a month ago. I think he did a damn fine job for only having ridden a dirt bike a couple of times. From there, we move on to the hill climb. Now, I didn't get very much footage, but there isn't really a whole lot to see. Some guys made it up, some guys didn't. Right in the tree. Now it's time for the Pylon Race. This is definitely one of everybody's favorites. Two riders start on opposite sides of each other, and they chase each other around until one of them gets caught. If you match up two riders of equal skill, this can go on for quite some time. It can be exhausting. See, sometimes you just gotta not fall down.
I beat somebody. I don't care how I did it.
Ah, Rick!
We'll win! That's like the most epic Pylon race there ever was.
Damn, I never picked the bike up so fast.
I didn't know exactly. They both fell down.
And here we have the finals for the Pylon Race. It's the battle of the two strokes. Keith against Will. And it looks like Will's going to take the win in the Pylon Race. He's going to be hard to beat today. There's only one event left. That's the Rally of the Dead. It's a 1 mile long enduro course where the riders race against the clock. last rider I'm going to show through the Rally of the Dead is Will. Will was the only rider to ride through what we call the Matrix. It can wreak some havoc, but if you make it through, you get 30 seconds removed from your overall time around the course as a bonus. With that, the Zombie Apocalypse Training Camp competitions are over. Coming in third place overall was Rick. Second place belongs to Jason. It was no surprise to see Will take the overall win. Since this was Will's second time winning the event, it means he's now a member of the Elite Hall of Fame. Hall of Famers are no longer allowed to compete for points, so if Will returns next year, we might just put him to work keeping score. I want to thank everyone involved, from the people who came out months in advance clearing trails, to Bob and Heath for providing the Saturday evening feast, to all the riders who made the trip out, and especially to Brian and his entire family for so graciously inviting us and allowing us to have such a damn good time on their property. Until next year, guys.